Hello, this presentation is part of the teaching module number 2, TM2 Environmental Quality, Learning Unit TM2.1 Environmental Quality Air, Water and Soil, Subunit TM213 Institutions Responsible for Environmental Monitoring. The authors are Camelia Drăghici and Dana Perniu from Transylvania University of Brașov, Romania, with contribution from David Christian Finger from Reykjavik University from Iceland. General notions about environmental monitoring are presented, followed by the institutions responsible for the environmental monitoring activity in Romania and in Iceland, respectively. The missions of these institutions are to develop and implement environmental strategies so as to ensure a healthy life for ecosystems. Among the activities carried out with the institutions, we have selected those that particularly follow the surveillance of the quality of environmental factors. According to the Romanian Government Emergency Ordinance number 19 from 2005, environmental monitoring is a complex activity which involves surveillance, forecasting, warning, and intervention in order to systematically evaluate the dynamics of the qualitative characteristic of environmental elements in order to know their quality state and the significance of their ecological aspects, of the evolution and social implication of the changes produced, followed by the necessary measures. As said before, the environmental monitoring activity is a complex one, which follows well-established planning, execution, and evaluation stages, shown also systematically in the figure. These stages are also presented in the text-based document. The assessment of the presence and content of pollutants in the various environmental components or factors, as air, water, and soil are, is made following systematical measurements with spatial and temporal coverage of some parameters or indicators established by regulations depending on the pollutants of interest for each environmental factor. The data acquired as a result of the measurements are processed, and the obtained results regarding the quality of the environmental factors are included in databases. The information obtained as a result of the monitoring activity can be registered in the database at institutional or governmental level, or of some research institutes, higher education institutions, or non-governmental organizations. Of all these potential holders of information about the quality of the environment, only the government institutions with responsibilities in the field will be further presented. The national authority responsible for environmental monitoring is the Ministry of Environment, currently called the Ministry of Environment, Water and Forests. The main institutions that have responsibilities for environmental monitoring subordinated to the Ministry of Environment are the National Environmental Guard, the National Agency for Environmental Pollution, the National Administration of Romanian Waters. Although it is not directly subordinated to the Ministry of Environment, the National Research Development Institute for Pedology, Agrochemistry and Environmental Protection is also presented. The National Agency for Environmental Protection, the Romanian Waters National Administration, and the National Research Development Institute for Pedology, Agrochemistry and Environmental Protection are organizing monitoring activities, being also responsible for issuing and submitting reports on the quality of the environment in Romania to the European Environmental Agency. The Ministry of Environment, Water and Forests is a state authority for synthesis, coordination, regulation, monitoring, inspection and control in the areas of competencies. At the Ministry of Environment level, the national policy in the field of environmental protection is carried out. On the website of the Ministry, its fields of interest are presented, of which we selected for this presentation only those dedicated for the protection of environmental components, like industrial pollution control, air quality and ambiental noise, water management, contaminated sites, soil and subsoil protection, nature protection. The areas of interest of the Ministry of Environment can also be found in this organization in several directions, from which those that have responsibilities for the quality and monitoring of the environmental components have been selected. Firstly, the General Directorate for Impact Assessment, Pollution Control and Climate Changes, with specialized services for pollution control and for air quality. Secondly, the General Directorate for Water, with specialized compartments for water protection and for international waters. Thirdly, the General Directorate for Waste, Contaminated Sites and Hazardous Substances, with the specialized departments for contaminated sites. The National Environmental Guard is a public institution with legal personality that functions as a specialized body of the central public administration subordinated to the Ministry of Environment. The National Environmental Guard is a specialized inspection and control body that can take measures to sanction, suspend, respectively stop the activity as a result of environmental pollution and damage for non-compliance with the conditions imposed by the regulatory acts. Although it is not direct activity in monitoring the quality of environmental factors, the National Environmental Guard is presented due to its responsibilities on inspection and control of compliance with quality conditions. The National Environmental Guard subordinates the following units through which it carries out its activity: Bucharest Municipality Commissariats, the commissariats of the Danube Delta Biosphere Reserve, and 41 county commissariats. The National Agency for Environmental Protection is a public institution with legal personality which operates under the Ministry of Environment, Waters and Forests and carries out activities for the defense of principles and the implementation of legislation in the field of environmental protection. The National Agency for Environmental Protection subordinates 41 county environmental protection agencies responsible especially for the monitoring of air quality and of some soil categories. The National Agency for Environmental Protection has the following structures responsible for environmental quality and monitoring: Pollution Control and Regulation Directorate with the Industrial Emissions Service, General Monitoring Directorate with the Air Quality Evaluation Center Directorate, and the National Reference Laboratories Directorate. Directions of Waste and Dangerous Chemical Substances, Soil and Subsoil, with Soil and Subsoil Protection Offices. Direction of Nature Conservation, Biodiversity. From the organization structures of the two institutions, meaning the Ministry of Environment and the National Agency for Environmental Protection, are coming out the fields of competences and responsibilities they have for the quality and monitoring of the environment. Another institution with responsibilities in environmental monitoring is the National Administration of Romanian Waters, National Administration Apele Române, which is a public institution of national interest subordinated to the central public authority, namely the Ministry of Environment, Waters and Forests. From the point of view of monitoring the quality of environment, the National Administration of Romanian Waters is responsible for monitoring the quality of surface, underground, coastal, cross-border or wastewaters in the territory of Romania. Unlike the National Agency of Environmental Protection and the National Environmental Guard, which have units at the county level under their authority, the National Administration of Romanian Waters is organized according to geographical criteria along the main rivers and hydrographic basins having under its authority 11 water basin administration corresponding to the 11 hydrographic basins, also known and shown on the attached map. Even though it is not a governmental agency, we have also included in this presentation the National Research and Development Institute for Pedology, Agrochemistry and Environmental Protection, which is also known by its old name and acronym, the Research Institute for Pedology and Agrochemistry Bucharest, ICPA Bucharest. The institute carries out research, technological development, technical assistance, and consultancy, training, technological transfer, information services, documentation in the field of agriculture and environmental protection. The inclusion of the Institute in this presentation is due to the fact that its responsibilities include combating soil pollution, pedological and agrochemical studies, physical, chemical, and microbiological analysis of soil, plant materials, sludge, and waters. The Institute subordinates a national network of pedological and agrochemical study offices which contains 37 offices. Similar to the institutions responsible for monitoring the quality of the environment at the governmental level in Romania, institutions also operate in Iceland. The responsible ministry is called Ministry of Environment, Energy and Climate and has a series of agencies under its authority, from which we have selected those with responsibilities for monitoring the quality of the environment. Meteorological Office of Iceland, the Environmental Agency of Iceland, and the National Planning Agency of Iceland. The Ministry of Environment, Energy and Climate formulates and implements the Icelandic governmental policy for environmental affairs and oversees nature-related affairs in Iceland. Among these concerns, we have selected the following: conservation and outdoor recreation, the national parks of Iceland, climate changes, the protection of animals and wildlife management, pollution prevention, fire prevention, weather forecast and avalanches protection, forestry and soil conservation, and last but not the least, environmental monitoring and surveillance. The previously mentioned concerns also define the fields of interest of the Ministry, from which we have selected those that particularly respond to the surveillance of the quality of environmental factors, air, water, or soil. Air quality, biodiversity, environmental impact assessment, meteorology and natural hazards, prevention and pollution, soil conservation, waste management, waters. The fields of activity and responsibilities of the governmental institutions in Romania and Iceland differ, adapted to the geographical, climate, and social economic conditions of the two countries. This learning subunit presented general notions of environmental monitoring and the institutions responsible for its activity in Romania and in Iceland. At the end of this presentation, we remind you that in the text-based document in PDF format, you can find more information about quality and environmental monitoring, and that you can also go through the intermediate evaluation tests of the teaching course unit and/or at the final evaluation test of the course module.